What's going on, YouTube? And welcome to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte. We are taking a look today, yikes, at the Calgary Flames. Been a rough start to the season for the Flames. Most recently, the struggles were put on display last night in a 6-1 loss to the Ottawa Senators. We'll be taking a look at that in this video. If you guys like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey and want to see the latest news around the NHL, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and even bigger subscribe down below. And let's take a look at the Calgary Flames. So, the month of February has not been kind to the Calgary Flames. They are 6-8 this month. And they still have to play the Ottawa Senators 3 more times. Hopefully they fare better than they did in this last matchup last night, where they lost 6-1 to the Ottawa Senators. Now, like I said, they play Ottawa again at Scotia, the Canadian Tire Center. They play them on Saturday, tomorrow. Then they play them again on Monday, and then they at Canadian Tire Center on Monday, and then they play them again next Thursday. So it's going to be a week in a row where the Calgary Flames play the Ottawa Senators. You've got to take care of business here. This is an opportunity for the Flames to rewrite their season, honestly. Rewrite their season, because after that, they play Edmonton, who I believe is the second best team in this division. And then you have to play Ottawa again, then Montreal twice, Edmonton, and Toronto. So the schedule continues to get tougher and tougher as you go throughout the month of March. And like I said, 6-8 in the month of February. They started this month against Winnipeg. 3 games against the Jets up in the Peg. They went 1-2 in that matchup with the Jets. They were pretty close games, minus the last game where they lost 4-1. They beat Edmonton. They beat Winnipeg at home. They beat Vancouver on the road, but then they lost to Vancouver on the road. So this is one of those things, like, they went 2 for 3 in Vancouver. That's good. But the problem is, then they come home for 2 games and they lose both games to the Vancouver Canucks and the Oilers. Then they play Edmonton and Toronto on the road, and in that stretch, they went 1-1-1. So in their past 4 games, they've gone 1-2-1. That's not good enough. It's not good enough. And when you look at the even more concerning thing, like I said, you look at the standings, this is where there's a little bit of an alarming issue. Now I'm going to let you guys look at the second column that says GP, that is games played, okay? Look at the Calgary Flames. They have played 21 games this season compared to Montreal's 19 and Winnipeg's 19, okay? So, I'm not a big math guy, but that's 2 games that those teams are back. So let's just say hypothetically, now the thing is, Montreal and Winnipeg have to win those games in hand, right? That's how it works. So that's potentially 4 more points at most that we could see an even wider gap between Montreal and Winnipeg and the Calgary Flames if they win those games. Now that's where point percentage becomes important, because that's where you could kind of tell a little bit more the story of how far the gap is. And without a doubt, Vancouver and Ottawa are at the bottom. Absolutely. But then you have Calgary right there, and they're below 500 in terms of their season record right now. 9-10-2, that doesn't get you in the playoffs. Now they have 20 points, right? Only 2 back of Montreal. Okay, so they win a game and they're tied with Montreal. But Montreal also has those 2 games in hand. So even if they win one of those games, now Montreal once again has 2 points ahead of the Calgary Flames if they win those 2 games. So now Calgary is back on the downside of things. And I hate to say it, the gap is definitely widening, because now we're seeing Winnipeg, Edmonton, and Toronto kind of taking over that North Division. And then Winnipeg, I guess you could say Winnipeg's in that category. Then Montreal and Calgary are in their own category, just fighting for that 4th spot. And then obviously Vancouver and Ottawa. Seems like there's different tiers in this division. You have the top 3 teams, the middle teams, which are the 2, Montreal and Calgary, and then the bottom teams that they're done. They're already in the cellar of their division. So it's one of those things where the Calgary Flames, they can easily fix this. But the problem is, like I said, games played. Once Montreal and Winnipeg make up those games played, this may be a little bit more concerning. And this is one of those things where that's why I think Vancouver is done. They've already played 24 games, most in the division, and they only have 18 points this season. So this is a lost cause. They're 8-14-2. You know, Ottawa is honestly not that much better. Not that much, honestly, they're worse than Vancouver, if that was even possible. But that's been the situation. So the Calgary Flames, they're losing ground and quickly. And this loss last night to Ottawa just signifies there are issues. And they've said they are not getting rid of their head coach. Brad Treliving has come out and said, we believe in this head coach. We're sticking with this. If we're going to make any changes, it's going to be roster changes. And I think that's so weird because you look at the coaching availability. How many good coaches are available? Gerard Gallant, now Claude Julien, jumping on that list. You know, I just think it's quite interesting where the Calgary Flames sit, why they need some kind of move. I don't really know where. Jacob, I mean, you want to look at points. You know, points has been a little bit interesting because you've got Johnny Hockey and Elias Lindholm leading the way. Then you got Matthew Tkachuk, Sean Monahan, Rasmus Anderson, Andrew Mangiapane, Mark Giordano, and Milan Lucic, who has 8 points. He's one of the top point producers for this team. Honestly, I'm happy for him, so I'm not gonna shade on him for that. But like I said, there's good things about this team. We're seeing Mangiapane and Anderson start to develop, but you're also seeing just that it's not enough. They don't have that number one goal scorer. Johnny Gaudreau, Elias Lindholm, they're playing well, but they are not that top tier player. And Brad Treliving, we've heard rumors, if there's a big name that comes out on the not on the free agency market, but the trade market, don't be surprised if Calgary's Brad Treliving is taking a look. Talking about guys like Jack Eichel. Talking about guys that we've heard around the rumor mill recently that might be of interest. Jonathan Huberdeau, Alexander Barkov. Now, with the way Florida's playing right now, maybe not as much about those guys, but that's the kind of situation you're looking at for Calgary. They're going to go big game hunting. And if it means at the trade deadline or potentially in the offseason, especially with the expansion draft coming up, it's going to be interesting to see what the Calgary Flames do here. So, like I said, their goal scoring, they need that number one goal scorer. I think that would help them tremendously. And then looking at goaltending, they just need a little bit better goaltending. They're getting mass stats from their guys. Jacob Markstrom, .909 save percentage and a 2.87 goals against average. Not bad, but not great either. David Rittich, 2.74 goals against average and a .906 save percentage. Again, okay stats. It's above 900, but it's not anything to really write home about for the Calgary Flames. So if they fix some of those little issues, they get slightly better goaltending. This has been a rough season for the Flames, but if they could somehow dig themselves out of the hole that they're in, they aren't that deep in yet. So, they don't find themselves in a Vancouver or Ottawa situation, so by default, they still find themselves in the playoff chase. So guys, let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think of the Calgary Flames? Do they still have a legitimate chance at making the postseason this year? Or do you think the Habs are going to lock that spot up, especially with a new head coach, over the next couple of weeks? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you guys like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey and want to see the latest news around the NHL, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and even bigger subscribe down below. Guys, make sure to check out every Thursday night at 6 p.m. our weekly hockey podcast. Take a look at all the news around the league as well as answer your guys' questions from the YouTube comment section down below. So if you want to have a chance to have your question or feedback heard on next week's podcast, Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, make sure to leave some feedback in the comments down below. And if you guys want to see a power rankings, guys, every Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, that's tonight at 6 p.m., we have a weekly power rankings. This is our sixth power rankings for the NHL season, and things are getting quite interesting in the top 10. So if you're interested in that, make sure to check that out as well. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.